All right, you guys. We on another episode of Confinement T. What's up? How you doing?
Hey, how you?
All right. So, can you let the people know who's watching, give a little background about how you grew up and about your family?
Okay, well then, me saying about my family and my upbringing, I would have to say I had a stern upbringing. And my grandmother raised me, and at the time, I had 5 other siblings, but it's a total of 9 of us. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother raised us. My mother left us to my grandmother, and she tried her best to give us everything she could. My grandmother, in the beginning, she was an alcoholic, and she actually gave up alcohol. She gave up everything just to make sure we had what we needed. We started off in the projects. I'm from Marietta, Georgia. And if anybody know, I'm Babbagetown. That's behind the bus station. That's where I grew up. At the age of 5, my grandmother said we were getting too old to be in the projects, so she actually moved us to an apartment over off of South Cobb Drive. And things just changed. Projects, everybody around doing what they do.
Yeah.
And when we moved to the apartment complex, it's like we moved into the suburbs.
Okay,
we really living.
Yeah.
And so things change and different schooling, and we met new friends, different people. And so after we got a little older, she moved us into a house.
Okay.
When we got into our first house, it was amazing.
Okay.
We had the big backyard, the trampoline, and we had the regular family squabbles and everything, but we had a good upbringing.
Shout out to Grandma.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Lord rest her soul.
Rest in peace, Grandma. So when you said that your mother gave y'all to your mom, like, did she literally like, I don't want to take care of them, or was she on drugs, or
my
what was the case?
My mother never used drugs.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't a drinker. She didn't do anything of that sort. But her addiction was men.
Oh.
And so it's more like my dad was my mom's first love.
Okay.
And it's more like once she got out there, my mom had me at the age of 19, and it's more like she never gave up her infatuation of hanging out, clubbing, doing stuff of that sort. Mm-hmm. And so she, after separating from my dad, she just got out there, and she left us with each kid. She would be there for a little while, then she would leave us with our grandmother. And so it's more like that's what happened there. But okay. I say at the age of 9 is when she met the guy that she thought she was in love with, and she wanted to have a little family thing. But that was one of the worst mistakes she could have ever made.
Okay, so why was that the worst mistake she could have made?
Well, then, even though she was sort of straightening out her life, she was with one man, she also had another addiction, gambling. And so she would be out late sometime, and that would leave. Like I said, I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. My grandmother had already instilled in me cooking, cleaning, and everything of that sort.
Okay,
so it's more like I'm the one who had to pick up the slack and take care of my sisters and brothers.
Okay.
And so at times when she would leave her boyfriend's brother and his wife to take care of me and my sisters and brothers.
Did they ever abuse y'all?
That's where everything went. I had a husband and wife molest me from the age of 9 to the age of 12.
Wait, hold on. The wife and the husband, she's married to this dude, and she allowing this? And she doing it? She's participating?
Yes.
What this whole name is?
All I remember was Margaret. She's not living any longer, but her husband is still living. And it's more like, I remember one time, because my mom, where we stayed was in the little trailer, it was in Cherokee County. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time having to stand in front of the door so that he came in intoxicated, and he came in trying to get my little sister. And I locked my sisters and brothers in behind the door, and I just stood there. And I remember laying on the floor crying, just take me.
Yeah.
Just take me, leave them alone. I will never forget that day. That's something, and that's something I held against my mom for a long time. Mm-hmm. But my mom didn't know it was going on.
She truly didn't know?
As far as I know, she didn't know.
Okay.
And just here recently, because I ran away at a young age, so it's more like just recently I'm starting to get back with my family and my sisters and brothers, and I just found out that when my brother was just a baby, because at the time he was the baby of the family, they even molested him, and I didn't even know.
What's this cocksucker name? Cause he need to be under the jail. What is his name?
All I know is Edwin.
Edwin, you was a bitch. You was a bitch.
Yeah. And so that right there, it bothered me for the longest. And so after a while, I told my grandmother, please just come get us, take us away from this. And one day my grandmother pulled up in the van and she got me and my sisters and brothers. I didn't tell her what was going on, but she knew something was going on.
Okay.
And she took us back home with her. Everything I thought was fine. Everything. I remember one Christmas, because I was spoiled. My grandmother made sure we had everything we wanted. But one Christmas, I noticed, because I was getting older, I noticed that there was a lot of presents on the tree, but there was only one present with my name on it.
Why you only get one present? Why you only get one present?
And so I started pouting. Yes. And so that, for attention, I actually at that time I did something stupid, and that's when I made the first attempt on my life, because I'm used to having what I want when I want it, and so that's something I did. And my grandmother said, if you're really gonna do it, you would do it. That's not what you want. You just want attention right now. She called me out. She pulled my card.
Yeah, she pulled my card. Yeah, grandma, as you should. As you should, grandma.
So I just sat out there on the porch crying. And that's one time that I can actually look back and see how spoiled I was.
Yeah, you was spoiled.
So my grandmother was my everything. Growing up, and see, the house we lived in, it was not too far from our school. So there was time I would walk to school or even catch the bus. And that's when I got my first taste of actually getting freedom away from my grandmother. And I had just got into middle school.
Okay.
And so I got into boys.
Okay, then.
So I pulled my my mama's addiction. I done got into boys.
So what you hunching? What you Okay then.
And so that was my little first taste of freedom. I'd say that's where that started. And so shortly after, after we've been in the house about 3 years, it wasn't even 3 years. No, it wasn't. But my grandmother had allowed one of my uncles that was getting out of prison to come live with us. And I had already been through the molestation stage and everything like that. So I'm not even going to lie. I lied to myself for a long time about what happened. But I'm not even going to lie. When he came to stay with us, he was nice and everything. He would give us what we wanted and everything, and he would make advances at me. And it was more like at first he was pushing himself on me. Yeah. And I already seen which route it was going, so I got myself. Shoot. Well then not even thinking, this is family at that time, but not even thinking he's gonna take it. So why not get what I can out of it? And that's what I did.
So when you said get what you can out of it, did you actually let him like touch you and fuck you to get stuff?
Yeah. At that time, yeah. Because I already knew it was gonna happen.
So you was just like, instead of him taking it and just, I guess, being vicious about it, you just gonna go ahead and just comply. Okay. And
so that went on for, I say, about 4 days. But I remember one day, I was in the 8th grade, and we were having our first segment.
Wait, hold on. You was in the 8th grade when you was doing this? Oh, what he was in prison for?
He went to prison for this, because this is the first time I actually told. Okay. And so when when we had our first segment of sex education, and it made me. I broke down in class, and I was telling my teacher just something ain't right, but I didn't tell her what happened.
Yeah.
That night when I went home, my grandmother would have these sheer curtains, so every night she'd have us put up a sheet over the curtains, and I went up to put the sheet up on the curtain, and he came up behind me and grabbed me, and I said, "This ain't happening.
Yes.
This ain't happening," and he just kept on grabbing me, so I turned around and I bit him.
Yeah.
And when that happened, not too long after that, I heard my grandmother pulling up the driveway. And so I dropped the curtain and I ran to my room. That next morning, I went to my teacher. I was crying. And I told my teacher what happened. She took me to the guidance counselor's office. When she took me to the guidance counselor's office, I sat there for a little while. And she talked to me. I had the sweetest teachers, sweetest counselor, everything. But when they called the detective got there before my grandmother got there. And when the detective came in, she was already on that rah, 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 rah. And when she looked at me and told me that basically I was a lie.
That what she said?
Basically, she said, I remember her saying something about, could you be more truthful about this matter? And stuff like that. Now, at that point, I was getting upset. But when my grandmother came in, they told her what was going on and reason why she was there. My grandmother took me out of the guidance counselor office. And this is what hurt the most. She said, "Baby, just go in there and tell him it wasn't true."
What?
She said, "Go in there and tell him it wasn't true." At this time, I didn't know the reason why she would say something like that. So that confused me. I got this detective saying that I'm lying about what's going on with me. Now I have my grandmother telling me to tell them. She was basically saying she believed me, but tell them it's a lie. And today, when I look back on the situation, many black families, they believe in taking care of things within the home. Yes. You don't take nothing to the street.
Oh, no.
And so now I could see it as that. But back then I didn't.
Yeah, but still, at the end of the day, with her saying that makes me feel like, and just not even your grandmother, but other black families, like, y'all be knowing these predators be in the family, and y'all talking about take care of it, but why y'all still letting them keep going from generation to generation, children to do this to kids?
And see, it's more like, I think, honestly, a lot within my family, there's been stories of even other children within the family, like the older boys mess with the younger girls.
Yeah. And
I hear about this stuff, and it's more like it got to the point where I actually started to withdraw from my family.
Yes.
And I held on to this. And I will never forget when my cousin introduced me to the chat line. And like I told you, I had already been into boys. I had sort of, in my mind, depict what the male wanted.
Yes.
And so I just got tired. And so one day I decided I'm leaving. And that day when I decided I was leaving, I had a little neighbor that lived up the street from me.
Okay.
I thought she was older than me, honestly. I thought she was older than me.
She was a little older than you.
And so I thought she was older than me. So I was like, well, I'm finna go.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it no more. And she said, well, I feel about the same way. So we both packed our bags that day, and I had met two guys on the chat line.
How old were they?
I say they were either late 20s or early 30s. And I had met them on chat line. They was like, "Well, we'll come scoop y'all. Go hang out for the night." Okay. So at the time, it was cool with me. Shoot, I'm getting out. That's what I wanted.
Yes.
And so I never been to a hotel before. I never,
exposed to that. Yes.
And so it's more like they took us to some hotel out in Atlanta. And I'm out in Atlanta by myself, and I'm up here seeing all this stuff.
It wasn't Motel 6, was it?
No, they took us to this fancy hotel. It was nice. And so it's more like, wow, really? So this is what it's like. It was two black guys The one that I was with was cute, but the other one, he was sort of cross-eyed. And
she had to take one for the team. She had to take one for the team. Okay.
And so it's more like we got out there, and that the first night we were at that nice hotel. The next day, when the whole everything changed. I don't know if you ever heard of the budget inn over off of Howes Mill Road.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah, so that's when I learned about pimping. And that's when I got took.
Okay. Did they know what age you was? I mean, I'm pretty sure you was on chat line, so you probably was like, oh, you 18 or whatever. Or what age did you say you was?
At the time, I said I was 17.
17. Okay. But when you got with them, did you tell them your actual age?
Yeah.
Oh, they like that. They ain't say nothing, right? Oh, wow. So how they break you and the homegirl in?
Well, then what happened was my homegirl, she got tired. And she was like, I got to go. I said, well, I'm not going back home yet. I would call myself, I'm thugging it. I'm doing this now. I'm doing this. And so she caught the bus and went back home. And I stayed. And when I stayed, I was still thinking that me and this dude, we like starting a relationship or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So one day I was sitting in the room and this girl called. And I kept on hearing him say, man, I'm bringing over there. And so later on that afternoon, he took me to her room. She locked me in the room. And she would end up being a female pimp. She told me the way the schedule was going to be, what was going to happen. At first, I was calling myself be rebellious. This ain't happening with me.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody running me. Yeah. And no.
So how'd they break you to get you to do it?
It started basically because my grandmother never whooped me. I never had nobody put their hands on me or anything of that sort.
Okay.
So she just slapped me around for a little while. And told me what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. It broke my spirit already that I thought I thought he was liking me and I thought he was mine or whatever. No, that wasn't the story.
Oh, wow.
And so it ended up, I was still doing school and everything. From Atlanta, I would go catch the bus up there to Cobb County and come back. But I was only in school for 1 month after this had started.
Okay.
And that's when I found out about Stewart Ave and all the little strolls and everything like that.
So did they put you on the stroll or was you working at a hotel?
No.
How did the tricks come to you?
First, it started off at the hotel.
Okay.
And at first, it started off me running her drugs. And so one day she had me run to this one guy. And when I took him to stuff, he told her he wanted me. And when he said he wanted me, she told me I had to. And if I didn't, I had a choice. And so I did. Another time, I just complied.
Who is this hoe, man? Y'all females out here, I don't respect it. If you a female and you doing this to another female and you supposed to be a woman, I don't got zero respect for y'all hoes doing that. If you want to prostitute, sell your body or whatever, do that, but don't bring another innocent female, especially a female, to come do this. Y'all hoes need to tighten up.
And so, after that, it's more like I was going through this for, I said 3-4 months.
Okay.
And while I was out on the store, there was this one guy. Every time he would see me out there, he'll pull up on me and he was like, well then, let me know when you're ready to get out of this. Let me know when you're ready to get out of this. He gave me a card. Mm-hmm. I think he gave me 2 cards because one she had found on me. She ripped it up and threw it away. Mm-hmm. But the other one I think I had in my boot or something like that.
Okay.
And it's how I ended up getting away from her. Another pimp had got me while I was out on Stewart. And with his situation, he actually just kept me. I didn't have to do the tricking or nothing of that sort.
Oh, for real? Mm-mm. So he kept you for himself?
He kept me for himself, and also I was the one that ran the house.
So
he said I would
say you was a bottom bitch.
I wouldn't say I was a bottom bitch, because he actually had his bottom.
Okay.
But I was the one doing the stuff that she wouldn't.
Okay. So he had you in training as a bottom bitch.
I was the one that took care of the house. If they needed something done, I would be the one. Or if they need an extra girl in the room, I'll be the one.
So, did you have to slap up any females to get them in check?
No, I didn't have to do anything of that sort. I was more like the baby of the house.
Okay, baby. Baby, okay.
And so that's what happened there. But one day, I don't remember what transpired, but how I got away from him was he approached me, and I was actually in the midst of a breakdown that day. And I was putting some clothes in the dryer, and the dryer was at the top of the stairs. The washer and dryer was at the top of the stairs. And I said, I just want to be left alone. And he was like, no, you're going to listen to me today. And so when he did that, I just basically turned around and I kicked back. Mm-hmm. When I kicked back, he fell down the stairs, and I ran out of the house. When I ran out of the house, I remember I had that card still from when I got it when I was with the other girl. Mm-hmm. And I called that man, and he picked me up. And he took me back to my grandmother.
So he actually saved you. He didn't take you or nothing?
He never tried me in that sort. Come to find out later, he was a pastor.
Oh, he was?
But he, I don't remember his name or anything. I just remember he's the one. He picked me up. He took me out of that situation.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to know his name because shout out to him.
He took me out of that situation. And so when I got back home, just because me being out there, that's what I was used to.
Yes.
Okay, I can, now I got everything on my own. I can do it myself.
Yes.
And so that's when I met my grandmother's next door neighbor. The one, the owner, he owned the house next door to my grandmother. Okay. And I had started talking to him. It was an older white man. Okay. Not somebody I would see that was attractive and nothing that sort. I seen his money. All I seen was money.
Yeah, you was out in the street, got your groove on. They done taught you the rope, so you see a big dollar sign. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so I seen the money, so that's what I went after. Okay. And I had met up with a girlfriend of mine that I was hanging out with in school. We've been knowing each other ever since 5th grade. Okay. And her mother got evicted from her house, and my friend didn't have nowhere to go. So at this point, I'm still staying with my grandmother. And I had started to let her sneak in the house and stay with my grandmother and me. Mm-hmm. And she was younger than me, but she wasn't that much younger than me. She was like my sister's age, so my sister is like 2 years younger than me. So. Okay. Anyway, so she started, and she was already in a fast lifestyle. She was already doing prostitution, just like I was. Okay. So we were about on the same level. That's the reason why I don't think things work with her and my sister. Okay. It worked with me and her. Yeah. Because we had things in common. So one day my grandmother came in, seen her in the house, and my grandmother said, "Oh, you got to get her out. She got to go." And I told my grandmother, if she got to go, I'm going too. Mm-hmm. And so we hung in the streets for a while. We went from sleeping on park benches, sleeping in empty apartments. We did everything together. Okay. And to this day, we still talk. Okay. She's my best friend.
So she never stabbed you in the back. She never backdoored you. She never did nothing foul to you.
We done had our little scenes when things happened, things went a little shady, but still, we were close. We're still close to this day. Okay. And so when after a while, I got tired of staying in the streets. I wanted to go back home. Mm-hmm. And so I had one of the guys I used to trick off with. I asked him, could she come stay with him? Mm-hmm. And when I asked him, could she come stay with him? He said yes. I didn't know he used drugs. Mm. And so one day when I went over there to the house, she was in tears at first. She was like, well, I got something to tell you. I don't want you looking at me different. I said, I won't. Mm-hmm. I love you. Yeah. And so that's when she told me when I did coke. I made this to this day. I will never forget. I told her I'd do it this one time, so you know that I won't tell your mom and you won't tell mine. Yeah. And so I did coke. I ain't even gonna lie, first shock, it made me think I was invincible.
Okay.
And so that's what happened. I did coke, and then a couple hours later, I ended up smoking crack cocaine for my first time with the same premise.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. So your first time hitting the line, it made you want to hit the pipe?
No, I hit the pipe because she said I did this, and then she told me she did this. So.
Oh, so damn. So you wanted to match what she was doing?
I wouldn't say it was matching. At the time, see, I was already messed up from doing the coke, and I just did.
Damn.
And
that's a hell of a night, ain't it?
It was. And that night, honestly, the guy that was in the house, like I told you, he was a trick of mine.
Yeah.
So he already knew the line of business I was in. So he seen this as a prime opportunity to get us both. So he took us to a hotel. And there, when I say it was the biggest man I have ever seen in my life.
Now, when you say biggest man, you talking about height or you talking about his dick?
Biggest man. I mean, heavy. Heavy.
Oh, heavy. I thought you talking about you swinging. Okay.
No. Okay. Look, sumo junkie. Okay. And so I was like, I said, I know you know this is supposed to do this. He said, well, just go in. Look, he said, Pinky, go in there and give us some.
Okay.
You still expect for me to do that? So by the time I did it, it was more like I didn't see that. All I seen was the dollars.
Yeah.
Because that day, this is what made me think that using drugs was actually a money move, because he gave us $2,000 apiece.
Wait, hold on.
For one night with both of us, just because we were young.
Hold on now. Wait, for my diehard fans that watch Confinement, and y'all know we done had some females on here and they named their prices. T just said her and the homegirl got the two bandos for the night. Listen up. Apiece. The pussy prices don't went up. We ain't talking about the $40, baby. 2K right here. NBA 2K right here. Okay, T.
And see, my friend, she was a white girl.
Okay.
And so she, beautiful. And at the time, I was little. I was a little thing, and had the big titties.
Okay,
so. I think if I remember correctly, he was like an Asian man, but he was big. He was real big.
Okay, yeah, I see. They got the deep pockets, but we let y'all know the deep pockets right now.
And so we did that night, and we got the money. He took us out that night, and that's the only thing we did that one night. We did that one guy. We didn't stay the whole night.
Okay, then.
And so. That's what made me beginning phase, because everything after that was just money. But I wasn't noticing all our money was going cycling right back into him because of the drugs.
Okay. So, what sent you and got you confined?
Well, then, after years of this repeated pattern, I didn't stop messing with this dude, but I repeated pattern. They called me the renegade of the streets, and that's what I did. Okay, renegade. So it's more like I'm out hanging in the streets, and what got me confined, I got petty charges. Like, my first time getting locked up was a prostitution. Okay. But I wouldn't say it was a prostitution. Reason why I say it wasn't a prostitution. Why you say it was prostitution? It was my birthday. Okay. And a guy that I had met, he had invited me to his restaurant. So I went to his restaurant, but on the way back, after I seen this Hispanic guy. I have a thing for Hispanics. Okay. And so I seen this Hispanic guy. He was so cute. And he was sitting behind the QT. It was a whole lot of Hispanics waiting to go to work. Uh-huh. And so I sat there. We talked for a little while. He don't speak much English, but I speak Spanish. Oh, you do? Say something to me. Can you say pink in Spanish? Rosa. Oh, But anyway, so we got to talking, and he kissed me on my neck, and he gave me a little hickey. Okay. So I did the repeated fashion and did the same thing to him. Mm-hmm. Wasn't no money exchange, wasn't nothing. This wasn't even a trick situation. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I seen the fucking paddy wagon pull up. What? The paddy wagon pull up, locked both of us up. for prostitution. Somebody around the way had called the police.
For that?
Yeah.
You know what? They were mad because they weren't getting none that night. That's what it was. They weren't getting none that night. They were mad.
But that was my first time getting locked up. My grandmother ended up coming to get me. And my second time was, I say, like a year or two later. And it was actually because I was in that area. I was hanging out at my friend's house. Mm-hmm. And it was a bad area anyways. But one of the guys we knew, they pulled up, and he was like, "Well, shoot, I got a little Migo out in the car, and he got some bread on him. Yeah. You know, let's get it."
Yeah, okay.
This was a white dude. He had the Mexican dude out there in the car, so I got in the truck. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I was zooted. I was already zooted. Mm-hmm. And when I got in the truck, Migo, he was drinking. Uh-huh. He was drinking and he was smoking. He was zooted too. Yeah. So I said, "Oh, this gonna be it. Where we going to? Why don't we just go in the house?" Nah, man, he want to go to his spot. He got more friends down there, more money. He got everything. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go. I noticed when he started dropping, he was already swerving. Okay. So I brushed out my mind. Shoot, I'm finna go have a good time. Let's just get there. Mm-hmm. So we got to Windy Hill and Atlanta Road. Police got somebody pulled over. He swerved a little bit too hard when we passed through the light. Police leave the car that he was behind and get behind us. This is my first high-speed chase.
No! Me didn't press the gas, did it?
He hit the gas. It was my first high-speed chase. So I'm up here like, oh my God. This is why I looked at both of them. I said, "Give me everything you got." And I started to stuff everything. Mm-hmm. Okay? We wouldn't have nothing on us. Yeah. And so the white boy, he held on to something. When the Migo finally stopped the truck, he pulled over into a bank parking lot. It was across from Campbell Middle, not too that far from Campbell Middle, mm-hmm. and Vinings, Smyrna Vinings. And when he had pulled over, the police pulled him out first on his side. They got him for drinking under the
Obviously.
Yeah. So, but I noticed white boy over here, he over here brushing something out the window. I said, "Oh my, come on." I said, "Oh God." And I should have got out on Migo's side. Yeah. Because I'm in the middle. I should have got out on his side. I got out with him. And so we over there talked to police. They look in our stuff and they didn't find anything. Mm-hmm. But when the other police went around the truck, they found residue in a baggie on the ground.
God damn it, Tommy.
And so they put us both under arrest. And he was like, "Man, I'm on parole. My parole gonna fuck me up." So we got locked up. I'm in Smyrna jail. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a jail. They just had me in a holding cell because the jail is so small. They had me in a holding cell. I stayed there a night and half a day. And so Cobb County came pick me up to book me in there. Mm-hmm. So after that, I got released on OR because ultimately, and so that was all right for a little while. Yeah. But still, I was out on bond. Mm-hmm. Okay. For some reason, everything happens to me in 3 strikes. Okay. 3 strikes. That was the first one. Yeah. The high-speed chase. Mm-hmm. The second one was I'm back in the same neighborhood. I'm walking down the street, and at this time I'm tired. I'm ready to go. And so I said, okay, I'm walking to the gas station because my little Indian dude up there, so I get a ride home.
Okay, all these fours now. Okay, seems like the fours, boy. Okay.
So, anyways, when I was walking home, I see one of my dealers, mm-hmm. and he was like, "Man, I'm headed home too, man. I'm clocking out for the night." And so, right as we meet and we talking, a black police car pull up on us. I ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing.
Yeah, we just talking.
And so the lady, she'd step out of the car and she started talking to us, and he kept on walking up on her. I was like, oh God. Oh God. But as he walking up on her, he dropped something behind him. Oh. And so she don't notice it. Mm-hmm. But my good dumb self, I look over, I say, oh my God. Uh-huh. I don't say it loud or but right as that happened, another police truck pulled up, the black truck with the K9 thing on it. And so when he pulled up, he talked to us for a few minutes, but then he noticed what's on the ground. They put us both under arrest. I said, but I didn't do that. Look, I would never forget. My friends tell me a week later, they up there talking about, all we heard was you say, man, I'm not on board. I ain't do nothing. I'm not on board. I'm just trying to go home. And so, anyway, they lock us up. My boyfriend at the time, he come with my grandma and come get me. Didn't I tell you not to go back to Cobb County? My grandma, when I say she went in, didn't I tell you not to go back to Cobb County? Yes. But see, the thing about it, they bonded me out, so we had to go to the bonding place. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you know, in the county, when you on the phone, on that little phone, okay, so I had been talking to the bondsman, and I had been flirting with the bondsman. Yeah. So I had already in my mind, okay, I'm gonna get my last, and I'm staying with my grandma.
Yeah.
So what I did, I had made him a little deal with the bondsman. Okay, you bond me out, I give you a little piece. You help me out, I help you out. Yeah. So the money that she paid, I would get half of it. Mm-hmm. So my grandma, she said, well, I'm finna, while y'all sign the papers, I'm gonna go over here to the store. Yeah. I went to the back with the bondsman. And when I did that, I did a little thing with him.
What you mean little thing with him? People want to know what little thing you did.
I had a little twerk session with him.
Okay, twerk.
And so he broke me off.
Okay.
And after that, I went home.
Okay, look. For my loyal fans, you already know this. See, get in the 2 beds, get in the post right now, the bun and everything. Hey, man, y'all know what's going on with Pick a Find Me.
So after that, I went home. Okay, now I'm up at my grandma's house maybe a week, but that itch came back. While I'm up at my grandma's house, I'm still turning dates because there's a whole. My grandma lives in Cherokee County now. She moved from Marietta to Cherokee County. Okay. So around the corner is a Mexican village. It's a little Mexican village.
You know she got that.
So I would go over there and I would do my little dates and stuff. Uh-huh. I come back and I put my money under the mattress. And it started to add up.
Okay.
So I got this little itch one night. I said, I'm going back to Cobb County. Mm-hmm. So I got on the chat line. Here I go with the chat line again. I got on the chat line that night. And I had met this guy. And he said, oh, I'll give you a ride back to Marietta. Shoot. We go down there and get a room. Mm-hmm. Cool. So I hung out with him maybe 30 minutes. Because I had to go. Yeah. I wanted to get back to the block. Yeah. The same neighborhood again.
Oh, God.
And so I met up with one of my white boy Ronnie's, and when I met up with him, I went over there. I said, well, no, I'm good. You good? Mm-hmm. And so we just went over there. We just had a smoke session. While I'm over there chilling with him, another guy come in, and I was like, I gotta go. Yeah. So what ended up happening is I ended up getting ready to leave, and he's like, I'll give you a ride home. And so he took me over back to the block. That's because my friend Anita, she lived over there. Mm-hmm. And so I went back over on the block. And when I got there, things just wasn't right. I just wasn't feeling right. Okay. But I said, okay, I'm going here and change clothes because I had clothes in her living room closet. I was going through this stuff and I found somebody's stash. When I found their stash, I was like, oh, once I seen what it was in, I knew whose it was. Yeah. But it had to have been there for a minute. Okay. And so the guy whose stuff it was, his name, I went up to him. I was like, shoot, I'm good right now. You want to go hang out for a little while? Yeah. And so I didn't want to hang out at that house because it was hot. Yeah. So I was like, well, oh boy, live around the corner. You want to? You'll show me where he lived because he just one of the little gay dudes that we hang out with lived around the corner. And I said, you want to go over there and hang out for a little while? And he said, yeah, but it was taking too long. So what I did, I walked around the corner to the duplexes. When I got to the duplexes, I went over there and I sat and until I actually found out which one was his duplex. And I went up to it and he didn't have what we needed so we could do what we had to do. So I seen his neighbor, Clifford. When I seen Clifford, I was like, Clifford, can we come over there? And Clifford said, yeah. I didn't think Clifford would let me because his name was Dwayne. Dwayne was gay. And I didn't think he would let us go over there.
Yeah.
But he ended up saying, yeah. And so we went over there and hung out for a little while. And I'm sitting in Clifford's house. It was Dwayne, Clifford, and Clifford's brother. His so-called brother. I didn't know at that time. But we were sitting over there, we were smoking. And things started to get low, so I said, y'all, I'm gonna have to cut it off. And me and Clifford, we went to his room. We just basically wasn't no sex involved. We just went there. We were playing Rummy on the bed. Yeah. Playing Rummy on the bed, smoking what I had left. And then all of a sudden I started hearing sirens. He said, man, ain't no police coming here. Ain't no police coming here. Everything good, man. Ain't nothing going down here. And so I said, nah, man, them sirens, they closed. Sorry. I said, they closed. And he was like, man, ain't nobody coming here. So I heard boop, boop, boop on the front door. I was like, I got to get the hell on. Yeah. And once I said that, he said, nah, that's the landlord. He coming to fix something in the bathroom. Yeah. When he get finished, you can leave. I said, no problem. So once the landlord got finished with the little pipe in the bathroom sink, I got up and left. So as I was going down the street, it's a whole lot of duplexes. And on the corner is another duplex. And so I stepped up on the porch because I seen the police. Police going down the street. And I'm up here like, dang, what's going on? And I was talking to my friend's mom, another dealer in the neighborhood. And she's like, I don't know what that happened. All of a sudden, I don't know if you remember me saying my friend Chris, when I found his stuff. Well, then he ride up on the bicycle. Man, like, T, man, somebody just got shot down in the apartment. Somebody got shot down in the apartments. Which ones? He said, DMS Village. I said, huh? He said, yeah, DMS Village. So that was the apartments right before I had got locked up. My boyfriend lived in the first apartment. Yeah. In the apartment complex. And I was like, you sure it wasn't one? Yeah. And he was like, I don't know who it was. I know it was a Mexican. He just got shot, man. He just got shot in the apartment. So I said, well, I'm going to walk down there and see what happened. Yeah. So what I did, I started walking down the street. Everything on the same block. I started walking down the street, but I went back over my friend Anita's house first. And my friend Rodney, he was sitting on the couch. He said, man, all I heard was bang, bang. Yeah. And he just sitting up there looking out the window. And so what I told Anita, I said, well, I'm finna head down here and see what happened. I ain't even gonna lie, I was still a little high. Yeah. And so when I left her house and went down the block, I got to the apartments. I see police lights everywhere. Everywhere. So I called myself gonna keep straight past. And then the police came to the little top of the hill. He's like, ma'am, can you come here for 1 second? I said, no problem. And so before he started questioning me, I was like, so what happened? Yeah. And I didn't have no words. I didn't have nothing to do with that. Yeah. So I said, what happened? And he was like, well, man, we got a couple of questions we want to ask you. Yeah. And all I could see is the police everywhere. Crime scene tape. And so he started talking to me. And as he's talking to me, 2 detectives started to walk up. And as these 2 detectives walk up, I could recognize one of them. Yeah. I remember his name, Detective Ord. Okay. And as he walked up, he was like, Miss Luster. And I knew it was him. It was the same 2 detectives that worked the case prior to this one. Okay. And so when he said Miss Luster, I just stood there for a minute just looking at him. Yeah. And so what's going on? I said, I heard somebody got shot. That was my thing. I heard somebody just got shot. So what's up? He's like, well, Miss Lester, do you know anything about what happened there? I said, I just heard somebody got shot.
Yeah.
So I was coming down here to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, well, Miss Lester, if you hear anything, I said, well, people are most likely to talk to me before they will y'all. Mm-hmm. And I speak to most of the Hispanics here because I live right there.
Yeah.
But it was right in front of my apartment where I was staying prior.
Okay.
And so he gave me his card and I walked off. Mm-hmm. Now, I was there, but I wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Like, I could see the police, but as far as me seeing blood or anything of that sort, I never seen any of that stuff. Okay. All I seen was the crime scene tape, mm-hmm. police cameras and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I walked on through the apartments, and as I was later on that night, long story short, I got arrested for a shooting that I never committed.
And we all know she loved amigos, like she really loved them. And so when they arrested you, did they put you in the lineup? Did they interrogate you, or how did it go?
What happened was, you remember I said I was standing on the corner when Chris had rode up?
Yes.
That same house. I had just got flexed. So I was going out there to cuss out the little the dealer that just flexed me.
Yeah, okay.
And all of a sudden, all these police cars pull up. When they pull up, he just basically told me, Miss Lester, we've been looking for you. And they didn't tell me why, nothing of that sort. They just said, Detective Orr wants to speak to you. Mm-hmm. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Didn't get put in handcuffs, nothing. Mm-hmm. Got in the back of the car. They drove me to the police station. When I got to the police station, he started questioning me. And then it started to seem like he was accusing me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started to feel funny and I got emotional. Yeah. To this day, I got the disc in my room right now from the investigation, and it doesn't even sound like me no more. Yeah. Because it's like they broke something in me when they started accusing me of something I didn't do.
I wonder, did it go back to when you told your guidance counselor about your uncle? Your grandma was like, go back in there and tell him you didn't. Because it kind of seemed like the same thing, because that broke your spirit also.
And when I say it completely shattered me. Mm-hmm. And so that night, they basically, he did read me my rights when I was in the, he told me I was being arrested for aggravated assault with the intent to murder and armed robbery. Mm-hmm. That was my original charge. And so I was broke. When I say I went in there, and it's more like when they put me in that cell and they took my clothes, mm-hmm. I wasn't even at the jail yet. I was still in the detective's office. Yeah. They took my clothes. They took they stripped me.
Damn, already?
And they put me in a paper suit. Mm-hmm. I was out of it and I ripped it. Yeah. So when they took me out of the detective's office, I was naked walking out of the detective's office with the thing tied around me. Because I didn't understand, why am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
Yeah, of course.
And they broke me. This man was up here accusing me. Well, then they said it was a crazy prostitute. Don't they call you La Loca? Yeah, they call me La Loca, but that wasn't me. Yeah. I didn't do this. Mm-hmm. And they end up carrying me to the jail. I had a seizure. Mm-hmm. And when I had the seizure, they couldn't admit me in jail that night. So they took me to the hospital. Okay. And later on, they brought me back to the jail. Okay. So this was August 6th of 2008. Okay. And that was the day I got arrested for aggravated assault with intent to murder and armed robbery.
Did you ever write a statement? Did they write one for you?
All they had was the interview, the investigation. No, I never wrote a statement to the police or nothing of that sort. Okay. I was appointed a public defender shortly after I got there.
Did you get a lawyer?
I couldn't never afford one. My family didn't have it like that.
Okay. What about all the money that was under your bed?
I'm gonna put it like this. See, after I was hanging out with those friends, mm-hmm. I wasn't getting money like that no more. Okay. I was getting good money, mm-hmm. but I wasn't getting money like that because I would do small dates. Okay. And when I say small dates, I might do one or two people, and that that'd be it. But it wasn't big money like when I was with Pinky.
Okay.
So
Pink, you know, Pink run the world. Just to let y'all know. Okay then. Okay.
So when it was me and my girl together, it was more like it was a whole nother world. But when I say I had formed an addiction, my addiction, that's where all my money was going to. So my money went fast because I had formed a $500 a day addiction.
Listen, folks. Yeah, 500. Y'all already know what time it is. T getting that money. She gonna support a $500 a day habit.
Nah, I'm serious. I had a $500 a day addiction because, see, it would never be just me by myself. So I would have to make sure I had what I needed. Mm-hmm. But it's more like the people that I was hanging with are the people I did business with. I had certain people for certain days.
Yeah.
But when I had went to my grandmother's, it's more like I had to get randoms, people I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I didn't walk the streets. Okay, I would basically work the phones.
Okay, then working the phone. Okay.
And so it was different. It was different, and so what I had at my grandmother's, basically, my grandmother was helping me out, sending me what I needed, but most of it I had already spent on my addiction.
Okay. So did you take a plea? Did you take it to trial?
Well, then I told my attorney from the beginning that I wanted to go to trial because I didn't do this.
Yes.
I didn't do it.
Of course.
So it got to the point where we were getting ready to pick the jury, jury selection or whatever they call it. And I was sitting in the holding cell. I told because he had brought me in front of the judge, and I told him no, I don't want to do this. I want to go to trial. Mm-hmm. And so, I said, I really don't want to do nothing because my mom said she was coming.
Yes.
My grandmother had passed a little while. I think it was April or May. She had passed away. It was April. She passed away April 28th. Mm-hmm. And so it was more like I lost my support system because me and my mom, we really not.
Yeah, yes, of course.
But my mom said she would be there for me. I said, I don't want to do nothing until she gets here. When they said, well, you ain't got time like that and you ain't got a choice. Mm-hmm. So you got to make a decision. And he said, you can get 70 years for this. I said, 70 years. And that's all that kept on playing. And he put me back in that holding cell and I'm sitting there. And that was the day I had met the Madonna lady.
Okay.
I forget what Madonna did, but she was one of the high-profile cases. She done killed somebody and went shopping with a credit card. I forget.
Okay, then. Okay.
But so this lady, she just sitting there. She had this wild hair, and she's sitting there in the holding cell next to me. I'm up here like this, like what the hell?
Well, hold on now.
And she had been mumbling in her head. So I'm up here like, okay, really? Are you doing this to me right now?
Yeah.
And so he came back. My attorney, I had already tried to fire him like 3 times prior to this. Mm-hmm. And when he came back, he said, Ms. Lester, the judge told me to bring you my phone. Call your mom. So I called my mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to my mom, telling her what's going on. Mom, they're talking about giving me 70 years. They're talking about giving me 70 years. Mm-hmm. I can't do this. Yeah. And so he gave me my first plea. It was a 45-year serve 6. I said, well, if I take it to trial, I told my mom, if I take it to trial, they're going to give me 70 years. If I don't, if I take the plea, it's 45 years serve 6. And
why he ain't do 10 do 6? 45 do 6, come on.
And so at the time, all I seen was these big numbers. Mm-hmm. And my mom said, let me talk to him. Mm-hmm. And I said, Mom, I want to take it to trial. I want to go to trial, Mom. I want to go to trial. And so as I was telling her that, she said, give him the phone. Mm-hmm. I gave him the phone, and they talked for a second. And he said, I don't know about her. I'm going home today, but I don't know about her.
Oh, wow.
And so when he said that, that's when I broke down. I broke down right there in the cuffs, and I said, I'll take the plea. Because me, I didn't know what was going on. They done took my life away from me. Shoot, at that time I had already been in county for almost a year. Almost a year. So it's more like I haven't seen it. I haven't been outside. I've been in county.
Yeah.
When we go outside, it's a little not fenced in, but it's a brick wall and it's a yard. And so I did that. But that's the most light I've seen.
But he wasn't talking about he going home today with them pale ass shoes you wearing. Mr. ain't getting no money public defender.
Charles Evans.
Come on.
Charles Evans.
In the flesh.
Shit.
In the flesh. Yo, dusty ass. Like, if you ain't gonna work for the people, goddamn, go to McDonald's. I'm so sick of them.
And so it's more like, after he said that, I just said I'd take the plea. So they took me out there and I signed the paper. They read my charges to me. I mean, no, they didn't read my they didn't read my charges to me. The judge asked me. Her name was Dorothy Robinson. She asked me. She said, "So, Miss Lester, do you know what you're here for?" I said, "Aggravated assault with intent to murder and armed robbery." And then she looked at my lawyer and she said, "She doesn't even know what she's here for."
What were the charges?
My charges had been changed. Because they couldn't charge me with armed robbery. They couldn't charge me with intent to murder because they did away with that in Georgia.
Yeah.
And my charges had turned to aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and possession of a firearm. And so with that, she looked at me and she said, "Miss Lester, is this what you really?" I said, "I want to go to trial, but they told me I would get 70 years. So I'll take the charges." And they asked me questions like, because see, I take medicine for antidepressant and anxiety, and she asked me about my medication and stuff. I said, "Well, I didn't take any of that today because I knew I would be sleepy." And she said, "That wouldn't affect you being here today." I said, "I don't think so." But the whole time I'm standing there in front of the judge, I could barely stand up because I was shaking. Yeah, so bad. And so they brought the papers out. I thought I signed over to 45 years serve 6. Yeah. So I would just kept on telling myself the max I would do is 6 years. Yeah. Max I would do is 6 years. And so I signed the paper and went back to the jail. I was there for a few days and then my attorney came back to the jail and he was bringing me some more paperwork. And when he brought that paperwork, he told me I had a 20 serve 15. I felt, when I say I passed out right there in the attorney booth. I passed out in the attorney booth because I thought I had 6 years. I'm already admitting to something I didn't do. Yeah. And he explained to me I pled out under Alfred versus North Carolina, which is saying that I'm not guilty of the charges. But if I go to the trial, they might be able to actually pin the charges against me.
Yeah, but Joe Google getting degree ass didn't tell me that though.
And so I pled out under Alfred versus North Carolina, but I signed up. I didn't know that the paperwork that I signed was a 20 serve 15. And at this time, the book was closed and I was going to prison.
If he ain't a damn Joe leg of a damn lawyer, I don't know what is.
So I went back to the cell and I just shut down. And I remember one of the deputies came to me and she said, "Miss Lester," her name was Miss Waters, detective. She was Deputy Waters, and she came up to me and she said, "You're going to have to drag yourself out of this because this place that you put yourself in is worse than the prison you in right now." And she gave me a birthday present. My birthday had just came up again. Okay. Because a few days before I had went to county, it was, I turned 24 a few days after I got to county. And I didn't got to a year now of being in county, and she said, "You're gonna have to take yourself out of this place where you at right now." Yes. And when she said that, she handed me a Bible, and I think it was Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Mm-hmm. And so it laid on my floor for the longest. And so one day I actually sat there and read it. And that's when I made the decision to change my life. Okay. And that was prior to me being shipped off to prison. Okay. I made the decision to change my life. And the whole time I was in county, when I got to county, I could barely read. I could barely write.
Okay, and that's because you had an 8th grade education, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So was you teaching yourself, or did you have officers and inmates that help you to read?
Well, then what happened was they wouldn't let me go to school because I was a violent offender. They wouldn't allow me to even leave the cell. Damn. I wouldn't say the cell, the pod. Yeah. Because we were in a pod. It wasn't an open dorm. We had 2-room cells. Yeah. But it was a pod. And they wouldn't allow me to leave the pod unless I was going to medical because I was a violent offender. I couldn't go to the law library. I couldn't go to school. Mm-hmm. I could go to church, but that's as far as I got. And so they would send me boxes because I was going to work my case myself. My attorney wasn't doing it. So I would get boxes of papers. Mm-hmm. At first, I couldn't read them. Mm-hmm. And then it got to the point where I just started highlighting and circling, and I just reminded myself of what I did know. Mm-hmm. They said, if you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah. And so I would never forget one night, one girl, she handed me a book. Mm-hmm. And it was called Running with Scissors. I forget the author, but she handed me a book, and I sat there all night, and I read that book. Okay. When I read my first book, I was excited. Okay. And so I read the book, and then after that, I got back on my paperwork. Because if I could read that book, I could get this paper. Yes. So I started circling. That's when I told my attorney, okay, he told me that he might get my case back in court. Mm-hmm. Get my case back in court. I said, well, then is there any way you could take a lie detector test on me? Yeah. Just to prove. I know it's not fully submissible in court. Yeah. But just so I could have some type of proof to say I wasn't there. Because I had an alibi for where I was because I was at Clifford's. Yes. So I had gave him, prior to me even trying to go to trial, I gave him Clifford's information. Yeah. But he never got in touch with him. And so it's more like, I told him, try the lie detector, try this. Mm-hmm. They never did do gunshot residue on me because they were supposed to do gunshot residue. I was bringing up all this stuff to him. And then a few weeks later, he told me, we can't do that. We can't do any of this. And that's, I say a few days after he told me, when I had to close out your case and there's nothing else I can do for you.
Sound like to me he just wanted to check it off and get that little $300 check that he was working for.
And so I got shipped off to prison. But many people, when they always ask me, were you scared? No.
Come on now. She been in these streets. Y'all already know she been in these streets.
The reason why I wasn't scared because I had already made the decision because I always hustled. Okay. That's always been my thing. Anybody that knew me while I was incarcerated, they'll tell you I hustled. Okay. Even while I was incarcerated. So it's more like I already knew what I was getting into. Everybody that was there, yeah, they might be hard, but guess what? It's the same people I hung with in the streets. Just family reunion. Okay, then. And so when I went in, it's more like they put, when I went through diagnostics, now that did shock me. It did mess me up when they stripped me down next to everybody and stuff like that. Now that did, because I would never forget the officer, it was a little short, fat officer. They call him Miss Williams. Okay. Metro State Prison. She said, oh, y'all get y'all stinking asses in here. Okay. And so she said, take off your clothes. I said, take off your clothes? I just went through this. I said, take off your clothes. And so they had us put that lye stuff in our hair. Yes. I hate them. Yes. And then they put it on. And I was, no. So the girl that was sitting next to me, that was next to me doing hers, she had tattoos. And then I heard Miss Williams come in. Juicy went wet. Juicy. You should use some of that money you used on them tattoos to pay for you a lawyer. You wouldn't be here.
Ooh, no, she did.
I would never forget. And I'm up there with the stuff on me. I'm up there like, I can't believe this. Yeah. And so I was like, shoot, I done a woman thing before. Why is it bothering me that I'm naked with all these women?
Yeah, fast.
But it was degrading.
Yeah,
it was degrading.
Yeah, it was.
It was degrading. And then some people just ain't right. You smell things, and it's time to.
That cat was here. That cat was
especially with that
Boy, look, some of y'all that came about the shrimp boat. Y'all done hit it with a line. Y'all done made it to a gunboat now. Come on now.
So, anyways, so we get through that, and they give us the bed rolls, and they give us this and that. Yeah. And so you have to do the walk of shame. Yeah. But me, the whole time I'm walking, we go into our door, I'm pushing the buggy and everything. I see people I know, they're like, AT. So don't talk to me, these people gonna hit me. So, anyways, a certain team officer came up. Oh, I see you popular. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, you gonna be a problem around. I ain't gonna be no problem. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So they get us to our dorm, but they put me in H building. Mm-hmm. H building was actually, it had diagnostics, one floor downstairs, one floor upstairs. Mm-hmm. But the other side was faith and character. Okay. And they had the dog program there. So they always had the dogs there. And the faith character would come over and see us sometimes. So we always had what we needed. We were more honored than the other diagnostics. Yeah. We had regular store. And so everything was fine to me. I'm just away. Yeah. And I'm sneaking to the law library because I can actually get out now. I'm not in county no more. Yes. I can get out. So
and when they give me now.
they give me them little passes to go to the law library. I go to the law library, and they had a school there. Mm-hmm. It was actually like a real school. Okay. But they still wouldn't let me in because I'm in diagnostics. Mm-hmm. But I go to the law library every day. Okay. And I met. I forget the lady that got killed in the prison. I tried to get her to help me work my case. I forget her name right now. But I had a couple people give me advice and stuff of that sort. Mm-hmm. And I just tried my best working my case. Then they GP'd me, and I stayed at Metro State Prison. Okay. I was still in Metro, and they put me in F building. And I thought they were going to put me to work when I first got there. It was just laid back. Everybody partying, doing their thing. Ain't nobody working. Some people worked in the kitchen, but wasn't nobody really doing that. Everybody hanging around in the door. I learned how to play spades.
I did too. I learned how to play spades, boy. You can't put me on that spade table now.
So I learned how to gamble with spades. Yeah. And so there's another one of my mama addictions. Okay. And so I wouldn't really have no family support because my grandmother was gone. Yeah. And so
how was you making stove?
I was making stove by hustling.
Okay. Some of the hustles you had.
Well then, playing cards, cooking. I would cook because that everybody love when I cook.
Not Chef T in this thing. Not Chef T.
I would cook, and my knuckles are proof of it. Washing clothes. Okay. That's what I did for my first few years. Mm-hmm. Then I got shipped to Lee Arundel. When I got to Lee Arundel, that's what I was doing, washing clothes, and then they put me in the kitchen. Okay. Why they put me in the kitchen? I found a whole new level of hustling.
Kingpin hustling. Yeah. If you've been locked up, you know the kitchen. You already know.
So I had this one friend, Mo. I would never forget. Me and her, we were cooks. Mm-hmm. So we were the cooks. I finally made it up to cook. I went from food prep to cook. And food prep, everybody always wanted food prep because that's who had the onions and stuff like that. So anyways, I was basically in the kitchen, and I'll just take orders each day, and that's how I make my money. Mm-hmm. I'm making or I'm either selling food out of the kitchen or washing clothes. Okay. And I made a good living off of it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Then a while later, I got shipped to Pulaski State Prison. That's the first time in my prison sentence I was scared.
Why?
Because everybody always talk about Pulaski's so strict. Oh my god, So I was nervous about going. And so when I got to Pulaski, we carrying our bags down. They would carry me to, I think it was E6 or something like that. And they would carry me to the building. And all of a sudden there was this officer. He ran up the walk. He said, "Everybody get down, get down." While he was carrying us up, the other officer was walking down the walk. And when he said, "Get down," shoot, all I knew was to get down because that's what they said do. So I dropped down on the ground.
Yeah.
And then the officer that was carrying us, she said, "You big dummy, get your ass up."
No, she did.
He was just a goofy officer. He was playing, trying to scare us. So we went in the building, and everybody laughing at me when I first went in. And some people already knew me because I had already done time at Metro and I had already done time at Leandale. And so I basically made my spot. They wouldn't give me a detail at first, not because I have seizures. I have bad seizures. Yeah. And they wouldn't give me a detail. So every day I would go up to the laundry and I would beg. I would never forget Miss King. I used to call her my mama. I would go up there every day. "Will you please give me a job? Will you please give me a job?" Because we had to carry the laundry up there. So one day she finally caved and gave me a job. But me, have to find a hustle. I wash clothes. So Miss King put me on the chemical detail. So I'm the one that load the machines. Everybody on the compound want bleach. Yeah. So I wasn't that little skinny girl no more. I done gained some weight because people pay me to cook for them. So I done got some weight on me. We good. I done got some weight on me now. I came in $120. Okay. Now I'm 205. What? Yeah. No, okay. And so it's more like I found out how to sneak the bleach. And so one day Miss King caught me with the bleach. And so that ended my hustle with that. Damn. So, but I went from the laundry to the kitchen, from the kitchen to PI. And so that was basically my hustle. Okay. When I was in PI, now PI is a different level because I was on maintenance. So I got the opportunity to make the prison gear. When I say prison gear, like if you wanted a belly ring, you can't get them in there. So we made them. We soldered them. We made all different kinds of jewelry, like rings and stuff. If you needed your player fix, we would sneak it in and fix it, different things like that.
So, did you have any like mistreatment from the officer, inmates? Did you get in any fights?
Well then, I got in 2 fights during my incarceration.
Why?
Well then, my first fight was actually with a roommate. I will never forget her. Okay. Because she was going through it at the time. We were cool in the room. I didn't even notice. I didn't know she was a little sweet on me. I didn't know. I didn't know. But she was a white girl. She was a big white girl and pretty big white girl. And she would always make little sly comments. So one day, after her dad died, it wasn't her dad, it was her mom. After her mom had passed, she had broke down. Yeah. And so she went out there and she was playing cards. And I was getting my hair braided. I hated getting my hair braided. I hated the braids.
You might be tender-headed.
Super.
Baby head.
So she made a comment. And I was like, "This ain't the time right now. This ain't the time." Yeah. Don't talk. And so she said, "I know you ain't talking." Like I said, the same time, so I was going out the pill call. So as I came back and I went to the room, she came in behind me. When she walked up behind me, she was just going off. And at this time, I wasn't even noticing what she was saying. It didn't even matter what she was saying. She was walking up on me. Yeah. She was trying to corner me. So there was a little desk, and then we had the bunk bed and the single bed, which we called the princess bed. Everybody wanted the princess bed. She was in the princess bed. And so she had pushed me up against the desk. I was like, "Look, this ain't what you want to do. Yeah, this ain't what you want to do." This side of me, I'm telling you, this side of me, it never came out the whole time I was locked up. So she came up on me. She cornered me in the corner, and she grabbed my shirt. When she grabbed my shirt, she dug her finger into my face. Oh. So I did a repeated action, did the same thing to her. I said, I'm going to give you to the count of 2 to get it off of me.
Yeah.
Because you don't let nobody get to 3.
Yeah.
Give them to the count of 2. So I grabbed on the shirt and I slung on the bed, and it was it.
Uh-huh.
My friend that I was talking to earlier, I told you about Jaya.
Yeah.
She walked in, she said, let it go. Please, just let it go. You're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And so that was my first fight. And come to find out, the honest reason why she fought me was because she liked me. I wouldn't give in, and she felt that I disrespected her when I was leaving out the house, room.
So did you give up some of that coochie while you was up in there? Did you give some of it up?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Not to her though. Not to her.
Yeah. But
I had a couple flings. I did.
Was they stud or films?
I say all females. And I caught one that never been with a woman before.
Oh, you like that? Look at her. Okay.
So yeah, it's more like, yeah, I had my little walk.
So did you have your little walk with a female because you was locked up, or you like females, or what was it?
Many people will tell you, well, shoot, I ain't never did it before, but shoot, it was a way to pass time. Well, then, prior to me ever being with a man, I was with a woman.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about on my own.
Okay.
I was molested, but prior to me ever being a man, I was with a woman.
No.
And so I wasn't even trying to get in no relationships when I was in locked up. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it was just a STD. When I say STD, it's something to do.
Oh, hold on now. Okay, then. School PT, what?
Yeah, it was something to
do. Okay, so something to do. But you won't mess with no female on the street.
I had, like I told you, I messed with a female on the street, mm-hmm. but it was just to make money.
Oh,
it was always just to make money.
Okay, then.
So when I got there, shoot, I can't get no dick.
Okay.
So
then.
it was, like I said, something to do.
Okay. So since you can't get no dick in there, you know what I'm saying? Did you get beat down with a strap in there?
Well, then, no. But I did have the occasion where I did it one time, and it was my first time. I didn't think I did it right, but she said I did, so.
She said you did it right. She said you did it right. All right, so did you eat some cat in there?
Plenty.
Oh, okay. Okay, then. So did you mess with any officers in there?
No, I didn't mess with any officers. Now, many people might have thought because I was I was real close with a lot of officers. Mm-hmm. A lot of officers.
Okay.
And many people thought, I was a little too close to them, but no, I didn't have nothing going on with any of the officers.
Okay. And
no, I never got contraband from the officers, nothing of that sort.
Okay, then.
But I did have some good details because my last detail was the best one.
Okay, then.
Because I started working for the CERT team.
Okay. Okay, then.
So when I was working for them, basically, I was the person, then your stuff got took, I can help you get it back.
Okay, then.
So,
all right. So, would you go into the library and stuff like that? So, did you finally get out? Was it because you worked on your case or because time had already passed? Well,
then, for so long, they kept on telling me when you're about to get on parole, a parole date would come up and then they would deny me. Mm-hmm. Parole date would come up and then they would deny me. They told me I was getting out at 8 years. They denied me. So, no, I ended up paroling out at my 14th year.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, with you paroling out in your 14th year and clearly that you've been locked up for something you didn't do, what steps have you taken or what do you want to be did about you being incarcerated for the 14 years that you didn't commit this crime? Because everybody know that Tila, the Mexican, like, y'all know damn well she ain't finna shoot me go now.
Well, then, honestly, for so long, since day one, I've been fighting, trying to at least attempt to get my case exonerated.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Okay.
But more than anything, I want to protect anybody else from being put in the same situation. A detective just wanting to close the case.
Yes.
And just picking the first victim. No.
Yes.
Don't take away somebody else's life. just because it'll help you get what you need. No, that's not right. None of this was right. And I can't say that my prison sentence was bad because I gained a lot from it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when I went in, I had a drug addiction, a bad drug addiction. And when I say I made that choice to change my life, I did. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I might have had my little hustles, but that was survival.
Yes.
But when I say I gained from my prison experience, I started off by getting my GED back in 2013. Mm-hmm. I got when I first got there, they wouldn't allow me to get any trades because I had too much time. Mm-hmm. But after I was some time in, I completed 3 trades: hospitality, computer technology, business and customer service technologies, and graphic art and design. Okay. I completed all those, and I got OJTs, laundry worker, and then I got 2 industrial maintenance, janitorial maintenance. So I got a lot of things under my belt. And then one thing that surprised me, I got chosen by the warden, the deputy warden, to actually be part of a college program that came to the prison. And I started to attend Ashland University.
That's great. Listen here. She went in with an 8th grade education, and look at your girl now. Holla at your girl now, T. Yeah, big up in college. Know how to read, got everything on the up and up, doing good and stuff like that.
And guess what? I'm still in college. I'm not with Ashland any longer. Mm-hmm. I'm actually with Colorado Technical University. Okay. And doing well, about to have my BA.
Okay. Look, man, listen, for y'all folks that say you can't do it, T's a prime example. Like, look at her. Your girl, hey, you doing big things. Doing big things.
I can't say that nothing's been easy because it hasn't been easy.
Yes.
I still have my downfalls and everything, but I haven't went back to drugs. I find it hard to adapt to some things. Like, mm-hmm. I done went out there, I done had little jobs and stuff, but with my hustler mentality, I don't want to go work for no $8 at waitressing or no what they give them $2 waitressing you get tipped. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't see myself doing that. And then when I first got home from prison, mm-hmm. The most amazing thing happened. Women on the Rise, they helped me to pay to get into a program which is called Nicole's House of Hope. Okay. Through Nicole's House of Hope, they put me into a house mm-hmm. that was owned by Nicole's House of Hope, and I had a roommate. When I got there, I did not know that my roommate was going to be somebody I knew from the prison. Oh, for real? And she found out about Nicole's House of Hope by me. Okay. Because while I was in prison, she was trying to find somewhere to go, and mm-hmm. I had told her, there's this place I'm finna get ready to go to. When just so happened we ended up being roommates. Okay. And so everything was amazing. When I say through Nicole's House of Hope, they had a social worker that helped you out. And the late Miss Yolanda, who was the owner of mm-hmm. Nicole's House of Hope, she connected me and my roommate, Tisha Arnold. She connected us both with a canvassing program. Okay. That helped with elections. Okay. So we got to go out there and canvass for Cassine Reed, Matthew Westmorrow. I'm actually working along with these people that's about, one of them going to be mayor. Yes. And so I'm like, I can't even believe it. And so after I did that, I did phone banking for the campaign as well. Mm-hmm. So I got to meet some really people that are high up in the community. And I couldn't believe I just got out of prison. I'm doing this now. Yeah. So I had a taste of that. And then with Women on the Rise, mm-hmm. Women on the Rise gave me the opportunity to get out and canvass. I think it was some park off of Candler or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we went to the park and we canvassed about closing one of the jails.
Okay.
And so actually being able to get out in the community and do things, that's something I never would have seen myself doing before.
Yes.
And so it's like massive opportunities approached me when I came home. And then I had the opportunity of actually still communicating with my friends that are still locked up.
Okay.
And I'm able to tell them, yeah, you can make it.
Yes.
You could do this. And I done found out about some wonderful churches. Atlanta Dream Center. The Atlanta Dream Center, Pastor Tom, he's when I talk about my church, many people think I'm talking about a black church. No, it's a white pastor, but he got more soul than most of the ones you will ever meet.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very powerful. And so it's more like I loved it. Mm-hmm. And then I've been to a couple churches with like family members. I don't even think I could get jiggy with a black church no more, because the reason why I say that is it's more like it's different than it was when I was younger.
Yes.
You go in there, everybody asking for money.
Yes.
And there's no fellowship.
Yes.
And so then I got introduced when my mom had got sick. I had started going up to Canton to see her. And that's when I got introduced to a church in Holly Springs. Okay. And it's called Five Stone Church. And it's another white pastor. And when I say he was amazing as well. Okay. And these people especially at Atlanta Dream Center, they go out into the community. When Five Stone Church do the same thing, because they would go out to the hotels and they bring a whole caravan of people and they come out, preach to the people, give them little stuff, take care of them at the hotels. That's how I found out about them. Okay. But Atlanta Dream Center, they call it Adopt a Block. Okay. And they go out there on the block with this big 18-wheeler and they'll give food out and stuff out to the community. And so I got involved in that. And so, yeah. Okay.
So it seemed like everything on the up and up with all these organizations and the churches and stuff like that. Was there any programs in prison like the ones you found outside that helped you to prepare to get out? Would you say?
Programs in the prison?
Yeah.
As far as the programs in the prison that helped me, you could say Ashland University. Okay. Because that was my first touch of college. Okay. But as far as the preparation with reentry and stuff like that, getting a job ain't nothing like that. Everything is computerized and they ain't teaching you that stuff. So no, everything is outdated. And now with the prison system, with them being so low on officers, the inmates are basically just in the prison stagnant. They can't even go to school. They can't do nothing. So if I was there right now, I probably would have lost hope, because it's not like what I had back then. Okay. And so, no, I can't say that any of the programs inside the prison, because all my outreach was actually outside the prison. Okay. Because, like I told you, I didn't have family support. I used like chat lines or the prison pen pal websites in order to get money for myself inside the prison, or aside from me hustling. Or Mr. Bob with the Reentry Coalition. Now, he helped me connect with other programs to help me get on my feet. And so, no, it was nothing inside the prison that helped me once I got out. Okay. So, T, for the people that are watching today, what's going on with you? Do you got any social media and anybody, any organization you want to shout out? You got the flow? Go on and let it rip. Go on and let it rip. Well, then, I would have to say thank you to Mr. Bob with the Reentry Coalition. Okay. Women on the Rise. Amazing Women on the Rise.
Okay. Shout out.
Shout out to Women on the Rise. Nicole's House of Hope.
Nicole's House. Shout out to you guys.
Atlanta Dream Center, Five Stone Church. Y'all need to find out about them because it's amazing. Okay. And I would like to give out a shout out to Pink Confinements.
Oh, what?
A shout out to Pink Confinements.
Thank you.
Because big things happen. Y'all need to find out about this lady because she's the truth.
Well, thank you. Don't make me cry over here. Don't make me cry over here. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, T, I thank you. And I also thank for all the women that let me come and sit down and talk with y'all. You know, we be kicking it, keeping it real raw. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with y'all. And like I said, at the end of the day, even though we did what we did, we still human. And shit, we just trying to live and enjoy life.
Yes.
Yes. So, what's your social media?
When I'm on Facebook, I'm Teniscia. I'm Nashay Luster. On Facebook, that's my Facebook name, and I think
Instagram is the same thing, ain't it?
I think it's My Chance or something like My Second Chance.
Okay.
I don't remember exact because
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up.
I have so many problems getting into the social media. Now I can scroll TikTok all day.
Okay.
But that's one thing I had a problem adapting with is technology since I've been home. But I'm learning. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Like I say, you know how to read now. You don't went to college, so it's gonna be easy breezy for you.
Yes.
And so, like I said, we got another episode on Confinement. This your girl T, and thank you again for letting me speak with you.
Thank you.